The dozens and dozens of red dots on this map mark the homicides in Jefferson County so far this year. In total, we've seen 168 across the county. That's 168 lives lost, 168 families changed forever. 160 of these cases fall in LMPD's jurisdiction. Now, according to the department, the homicide numbers this year are lower than last year, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
The number that we have is still too high, but we are trending in the right direction.
As 2022 comes to a close, LMPD reports a roughly 8% decrease in fatal shootings compared to a year ago. Still, community activists say even one homicide is too many.
When you look at the human connection to this, there's not a doctor that I've talked to, or a survivor, or a kid who feels that 2022 was that much better. It's just the numbers don't make sense in that way.
Louisville has now seen over 100 homicides a year for 3 straight years. The lives lost to gun violence since 2020 now passing 500. Dozens of those victims were children.
We had 14 victims that were under 17 years old of homicides this year. That's a tragic number.
The way these shootings have spread in all 8 LMPD divisions, that's a game changer in itself. We used to could just identify where you knew the epicenter of these shootings were going to mostly occur at. 1st, 2nd, 4th division. Now you got it in all 8 LMPD divisions.
Of the LMPD cases, police say nearly 50% have been solved, compared to just a third of the cases from 2021.
We refocused our CID, our Criminal Intelligence Division, to where they focused strictly on violent crime, violent offenders, and not so much the smaller narcotics traffickers. And in doing so, with implementing the MPLAC platoons, they can focus on, division-specific problems in the area.
The department is still 278 officers short, but LMPD says it is boosting its recruiting efforts and community engagement with the goal of closing even more cases in 2023.
We as the police, we cannot solve these on our own. The community is a vital part and partner to solving these crimes.
LMPD says it's hopeful violence will continue to trend downward in the new year.
I would have no reason to believe it wouldn't because of the practices that we've implemented.
But whether fewer lives will be lost remains to be seen.
Unless something is so strong evidence-wise as it relates to a reversal, one has to say that we're on a trend for 100 a year until something else changes.
And this year, Louisville also saw hundreds of shootings where people were hurt but did not die. Police say there have been 421 non-fatal shootings in 2022. 2021's number, 631. Now, while this is a 33% decrease in non-fatal shootings, a trauma surgeon with U of L Health says a shooting doesn't have to end a life to change one forever.
The range of emotions, it can play out very quickly initially after the injury. There's the typical, grief and tremendous grief, anger. Oftentimes you're there with a large family and you see that whole family dynamic is going to change forever after these injuries, both in the fatal setting when they've lost that individual and in the non-fatal setting where you can see that the lives of those a tremendous amount of their time is going to be spent in the rehabilitation process and trying to get that patient back to, or that individual back to the baseline if possible.
LMPD is encouraging anyone with information about open investigations to contact them. That number 574 LMPD. Remember, you can stay anonymous.